That number right there is why people think that this strategy is insane. $300,000 on a $75,000 account. If you don't understand what this means, it looks like financial suicide. But here's the truth. That number is technically correct and completely misunderstood. And so for the next 6 months, I'm going to be trading this much risk on a $75,000 account. I'm going to show you exactly how it's going to break down. So originally, I posted this video. It was some information that I had gotten from Tom Sosnoff on his favorite trade. And wow, the video really took off. But one of the things that really hit home was people were commenting about the loss. Here's one comment that Oregon Cashflow Pro said, dude, look at the mass loss. It may be 300K, right? And it was really critical. So what you're going to learn in today's video, I'm going to break that down, right? So you're going to learn the challenge, the strategy. You're going to learn step-by-step rules, no fluff, and exactly how to handle that $300,000 risk. So let's jump in. First thing I want to explain to you, ES futures. That's what we're trading. And ES futures equals $50 per point. So if the ES is around 6,150, the notational value is $307,500. Now, when you sell a put, the broker assumes if assigned, you're effectively long one ES contract. And so that contract controls about $300,000. And that's why the trading platform shows a max loss of 300K. Now, what this means is you could have to buy that contract, right? And that would be valued at 300K, but you wouldn't have to pay that much because margin is what you would use to buy it, right? The broker is going to issue the ability to buy that on margin. And so if we look at it, it's kind of like maybe owning a house. Think of it like buying a house with $75,000 in equity. You control $300,000, but you don't expect the house to go to zero overnight. We don't expect the futures contract to go to zero. We've never seen that happen. And so we're not expecting it. Could it happen? Sure. But we don't expect the S&P 500 to go to zero. But it's good to know that the 300,000 is the max loss that we can get, right? Because it's good to know that. So what I'm going to do now is I want to prove that this strategy actually works. So I'm going to take one trade a week in one account, and I'm going to do one contract. And I'm going to do this for 6 months because I think 6 months is enough time to really get a handle on the strategy, if it works, and to learn it, right? I'm always saying, look, the way to get rich quick is to get rich slow. You got to go through the learning process. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to share all of the results. But before we do that, let's dive into what we're actually doing. So I'm going to be doing a 6-month commitment. It's $75,000, and this is a demo account. If it works out, I will move this to a live. I'm only going to do one contract only. It's going to be done on the 10 delta. And I'm going to do one here. You'll see the whole thing here in a second. I'm going to do a 10 delta short put. That means I'm selling puts. And it's going to be a 50% profit target. So as soon as I make the trade, I'm going to put a profit at 50%. You'll see exactly how that works. And then I'm going to roll the trade at 21 days to expiration if it doesn't work. And even if it does work, I'm going to roll it or close it, one or the other. And rolling is closing. But I'm not going to switch strategies. I'm not going to do anything fancy. It's going to be straightforward, simple, easy, and I'm going to record all the results, and it's only going to take an hour a week, one trade a week. So this is going to prove a lot of things, that the strategy works, that you can actually make and replace your income with options using a simple strategy in just an hour a week. That's what you're going to learn here. And why we're using the 10 delta. So I'm going to show you on an options chain what it is, but it really is about 90% probability. So that means that we're going to win about 90% of the time. And it's a contract that generates a lot of premium. So we're going to be able to generate good revenue on a very high probability. However, the risk, there is a real risk here, and this is not free money. It requires something very important, and that is mechanical management and discipline, right? We have to be system operators. That's what I'm trying to teach and trying to get through to people, is that this is not anything other than operating a system. And there is always risk, right? And so we need to understand that. And so what the risk is, that if there's a lot of volatility and the account moves, it could increase our margin, and therefore we could have a margin call. And that's where you really get your losses. When the broker forces you to close your trades at a loss, that's critical. That's why we're doing the strategy that we do on making sure that we're closing it at 21 days out, making sure I'm only trading one contract. I could afford more than one, but I'm only going to do one to keep the risk management in control, which is part of why we do what we do. Now, when we get a drawdown, there could be some serious issues. Look, the market's been a little crazy right now. And this is an interesting time because the VIX is up. We could see the market really drop. And so we've got to make sure that we're managing the risk. And so another factor that I wanted to mention is no emotions. If you use a system, it takes the emotions out. I like to think things out ahead, 3 to 5 years. Here I'm planning out 6 months, but it's still removing the emotions. I'm not going to be adding contracts. I'm not going to be panicking. I'm not going to double down. I'm following the strategy, and discipline equals prediction and protection. And it also helps you avoid emotional mistakes. Those are some of the biggest things that we deal with as traders. Now, I am also going to give you a little preview here of what I expect the performance to be. I'm expecting a 27.7% ROI. That's pretty good. Not bad with just 1 hour a week. Now, we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun to come back to this video later and see how successful we actually are. Let me know in the comments if you think we'll be able to do that. And I'm looking at a target of $800 a week, $3,466 a month, with a total of about $20,800 in premium in 6 months. Now, that's just straight up following the rules, basic systematic trading. Now, if the market goes a little crazy, I could make more, I could make less. But one thing I want to assure you, that I'm not going to be backtesting. I'm not resetting the account. I'm not hiding drawdowns or switching strategies. You're going to see it. It's totally transparent. Now, one of the things I want you to realize here is this is a demo, but that means that there's a few things that are a little easier on demos, right? Like the volatility, getting filled, things like that, that might be a little more difficult. They're not quite as difficult. But that's okay, because we're not necessarily trying to totally mimic a live trading environment. We're trying to mimic the system and get a feel for if it works. And then as we do this, then we'll roll it out live. And so this strategy isn't about making 100% ROI, doubling your account, getting rich quick. This isn't a black box. I'm showing you everything. But what I am showing you is so important that a lot of people don't say, and that is, okay, we're following a system. It's mechanical, it's risk controlled, and we're full of transparency. You're going to see everything. And so most traders they switch around, they follow the shiny object, they chase volatility, they're trying to get rich quick, they're allowing their emotions to cause their decision making, but we don't do that. Why it's so beneficial after this test is complete. And like I said, if it keeps rolling, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to roll this out live. And if you're interested in getting an SPY or MES or SPX version, let me know in the comments. If there's interest, I'll do it. All right. So now let's go ahead and dive into the chart, and we're going to make an actual trade. So what we're going to see right here is the MES, the ES, the futures. And one of the rules of this strategy is that I'm doing 45 days out. That's the minimum. I might do 52, might do 45, but 45 is the minimum. So this is April 10th. And we're going to look at this right here, and we're going to go to the 10 delta. So this box here is the delta, and we see it's 10. So that is a $32.25 contract. So we're going to go ahead and put that in, and I'm going to do one at a time. Now, again, we're getting back to the risk here. You're going to see that it's $309,000 is the max risk. The profit here is $1,612. So let's edit this again. I want to make sure I get the best possible price. We'll go to 33. So we're getting $1,650, and I'm going to document this whole thing. You can see right over here the options, and so we're going to place the trade. And so the trade is live. It's now, you see our buying power is reduced, and I'm going to do this each and every week. You can see there's the sell. This was done at $33, and the order is working. All right, and so that's what we've got to work with here. That's how the strategy works. You can see that it's a probability of 89%, and it's going to be very simple and easy to follow along. So that's the strategy. We're going to follow it. If you like this strategy and you want to know about how to replace your income with options, check my roadmap out. It's a detailed step-by-step plan on how long it's going to take you to replace your income and how much income you'd actually be able to replace. It's a calculator with a strategy that I built out to help people make the transition, replacing your income with options. That is, you'll see the link in the description and also in the comments. And if you want to know where I got the idea from this video, click above. That was the last video I did that really got a lot of excitement and got people very interested in the $300,000 risk strategy. Click that above. All right. Hope you guys are excited. We're going to see you in the next update.